right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Before I take a few of your questions, I'd like to say a few words about the new Amazon Fulfillment Center that will be coming to Southeast Baltimore. As many of you know, a key goal of my administration is growing Baltimore by 10,000 families. And in order to grow a city, you have to both attract new residents, but more importantly, you have to give those residents who are here more reasons to stay. And right now, too many of our residents are locked out of opportunities to find a good job, and that's those jobs that will allow them to put food on their tables, provide for their families, put clothes on their back in a productive way and in an honest way. Every day, my administration works to create more opportunities for employment that will impact some of our most hardest hit communities. I want them to be able to improve their lives and with honest employment. And some of our residents, and some of these opportunities, the individuals that are the hardest to employ miss out on these opportunities. So when the Amazon Fulfillment Center opens up, Baltimore will have an opportunity to help these residents get back on their feet. If they are willing to take the steps necessary, we will connect them with the 1,000 full-time jobs that will be created by the Amazon Fulfillment Center. I plan to aggressively work to make sure that many of these jobs, or as many as possible, go to Baltimore City residents. I've asked the Mayor's Office of Employment Development to coordinate a series of proactive steps to ensure that city residents are the first in line to connect with these jobs. On February the 3rd and the 4th, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development will host an application event to assist interested candidates. Roz Howard with Mayor's Office of Employment Development will go into greater detail in a moment. But let me close by standing firm on my belief that we can connect Baltimore City residents with jobs. And we've seen that happen before with our one-stop career center. Those career centers can pay dividends for residents that are looking for work. They offer job preparation and other resources to those who need it the most. Our efforts surrounding the opening of the Horseshoe Casino resulted in a majority of those jobs going to Baltimore City residents. I'm confident that we will be able to do the same when the Amazon Center opens. Thank you very, very much. And I will turn it over to Roz for a quick overview.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We are excited to partner with Amazon for this information and application session. It's an opportunity for city residents to come to our one-stop career center, learn about the jobs from the Amazon staff, get some tips on the positions that will be available, that are available now, and get some tips for the application process. Amazon uses an online process. We know that is not the easiest process for many of our residents. So we want to ensure that they have the tools that are needed to successfully complete that application process. We're inviting everyone to attend that session on February 3rd and February 4th. We are actually conducting 2 sessions each day. So the first session on February 3rd will be at 9 a.m. and it's going to be conducted at the East Side One-Stop Career Center. That career center is located at 3001 East Madison Street. That's Baltimore 21205. To attend, please call 410-396-9035. That's so that we can get an idea of the number attending. We do have limited space. So we're asking that everyone call that number, 410-396-9035. For those people who cannot attend the session, they can come to any of our one-stop career centers. There's also one located on the 3rd floor of the Mondawmin Mall, and they can apply for those Amazon jobs and have staff to assist them through that application process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I want to thank Rosalind and the entire Mayor's Office of Employment Development team. We're going to continue, I'm going to continue to fight for jobs to come to Baltimore, but that's only half the battle. The other fight is to make sure that Baltimore City residents get those opportunities. And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because we are intentional about our efforts to work with these employers as jobs come to Baltimore. And I like our track record of doing that. And I also like the fact that, I say all the time that Baltimore City is open for business, but open for business means that we are seriously working to fulfill the needs of our major employers, and the work that we do. I think we offer concierge service to these businesses that come in to really help them identify the best talent, to do the screening, and to make it as easy as possible for them to get going and get working in Baltimore. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
You can have a seat. Thanks. All right. With that, I will open up for questions.
I actually have a question about, just to clear up things, Ms. Howard.
Oh,
So,
you want to come back? Sorry. I should have asked if there are any questions about the Amazon.
so the 3rd and the 4th, those are the 2 special event days, but outside of that, people could go to any one-stop center to apply?
Correct. And we're also working with our workforce partners in the city and beyond the city to actually host additional information sessions. So we hope to get you some more dates out very soon.
Okay.
Any other Amazon questions? All right.
We want to ask you about hiring of Howard Libet
Mm-hmm.
for what exactly he's going to be doing. You know, I see the salary is kind of high, given that the city is deficit, I guess.
So Howard Libet has worked on projects in and around our city for more than 2 decades, and it's not unusual for me. It's certainly not unusual for any other administration to try to attract top talent to come and work for the city. You know, I'm very pleased that he is here to help us as, you know, we have different issues like redoing the website and the communication plan around that, a lot of strategic planning around weaving the policies and the programs that we have, and, you know, communicating about those things. And many of you have even said to me, you know, we see you doing good things, and not everyone knows about it. He's going to be helping with that, as you know. My former communications director, Karan Brace, recently departed for the state's attorney's office. He will assist with some of those communications functions and work with my team in coordinating policy and public affairs outreach.
Are you concerned about his ties to the PO firm?
I'm more concerned about his ties with the Sun, but he confirmed to me that those ties were broken, and I thought he was suitable for employment.
I have kind of an Amazon-related question, but it's really about Red.
Oh, you've really messed up then, because Ms. Howard has
Well,
left.
kind of, you know. So last
Is it
night,
a job thingy? Is it a job
No.
question? Okay, all right.
As you know, one of the concerns about some of the opponents of the red line is that it is a rigid, non-flexible system.
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon's a good example of their concern, because the red line doesn't reach it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously going to be an increasing employment center, probably. So, anyway, last night at the Canton Community Association's annual meeting, there were about 200 people there. Jim Kraft, the councilman, was asked about, you know, with the uncertainty about the red line,
Mm-hmm.
what about alternatives? And he said that there are people in the City Department of Transportation that are willing to talk about alternatives, but that you stand in the way and do not want discussion of alternatives to the red line as configured. Can you respond to that?
No.
Well, so I'll ask the question. Is there you know, within the city, is there some discussion going on of alternative transit ideas in the event that the red line does not get funded?
So ask the question again. Is there what?
Is there a discussion going, have you asked anyone in the Department of Transportation or anywhere in city government to start looking at alternatives to
I have
transit?
not asked them to look at alternatives, nor have I asked them not to look at alternatives.
Councilman Stokes is introducing a bill that would put a charter amendment to vote to sort of change the composition of the Board of Estimates,
Mm-hmm.
you know, eliminate the 2 agency heads and make them elected officials. I know you said already that you're going to veto this. Have you any other change of thought on this, or do you think it might be time to think about something like this in terms of reform?
Yeah, I am a very strong proponent of open, accessible city government, which is why among the many reforms that I've put into place, I've tripled the staff of the Office of the Inspector General to complete more investigations into waste, fraud, and abuse. What's not clear from this legislation is exactly how it would address waste, fraud, or abuse in city government where such abuses are occurring due to the current structure, or how changing the structure would address any of the challenges he mentions. The Board of Estimate meetings are open to the public. They're televised weekly and rebroadcast. And the agenda is presented for review to both the public and the media ahead of the meetings and before the board members take any votes on them. Members are also often refrain from, regularly refrain from voting on any item where there's a clear conflict of interest, and members of the public are also allowed to protest. Before we dramatically change a structure of government that has worked well for decades, I think it's fair to ask if what we're doing or what proposed changes really get to any of the proposed or the suggested problems. And it's not clear exactly what problems this change is intended to fix.
Well, some would say, like, in terms of the phone system, the controversy over that 2012, we saw having a phone system, that might be due to the fact that there's not more shared balance of power, let's say. Maybe.
I think that's purely conjecture. I think, you can point to, there's nothing, absolutely nothing other than you just throwing it out there that would suggest that that's a solution, that changing the construct of the Board of Estimates would be a solution to that.
Well, how do you feel overall? Because that's not the only bill. There's 2 or 3 other bills, 2 that's been in the hopper, so to speak, for the last couple of years, and one on the way from Councilman Kraft. They're all targeting trying to weaken your power, essentially.
I certainly cannot force the council to focus on what I think is important. I think it's important that we try to reduce the number of vacant homes in the city. I think it's important that we work together to try to make Baltimore a safer place. I think it's important that we work together to try to provide more recreational opportunities and state-of-the-art recreational opportunities for our families. Those are the things that I hear about when I'm out and about in the community. Not too many people are talking about the structure of the BOE or whether or not I should have more or less veto power. While I cannot tell them what to do, I think it would be helpful to the city if they focused on real problems. We have enough issues that we need to deal with without inventing them.
I apologize, by the way. So would it be fair?
I'm going to mark that down in history.
It happens. So are you saying that the council is pretty much wasting their time trying to weaken your office instead of focusing on problems?
I would say that I don't thoroughly understand where their priorities are. When we have issues, we have a bill that's been languishing that would give us the opportunity to put $60 million of capital investment into creating stronger recreation centers, something that they have said in the past that was important to them, yet they won't even schedule it for a hearing. So, like I said, when I'm out and about and talking to people in the community, none of them are talking about the fact that the Board of Estimates structure needs to be changed, or about my veto power. Listen, 99.6% of the time, I've signed the legislation. So while we have real problems in the city, to focus on something with the veto legislation that happens less than 1% of the time, I'm sure that the public would ask the same questions that I would about the productivity of such an endeavor.
We can do one more, guys.
Hogan's budget will cut into the city's education funding and some other things. By how much, and how concerning is this at this time?
So I testified yesterday about Hogan's budget, and we're looking at, I believe it's about a $35 million hit to the school system. And look, I get it. I sympathize. You all know when I took over as mayor, I face historic budget deficits. But when you face those very serious challenges, you have to, I think it is important if you want to be a leader that positions your city or your state to grow, that you resist the urge to make what I think are knee-jerk and not very strategic proposals to sort of make these across-the-board cuts. We've seen that those types of cuts haven't worked on any level of government. You have to be strategic about your priorities and look for ways to fund those priorities. We know that the education choices drive where people want to live. We know it's public safety, but we also know it's education. People want to live in a state where they know that their child has a chance to make it and that their education system will provide their child the foundation that they need to be able to have the best life possible. And when you see a school system like Baltimore City that's continuing to make good progress, and then as a reward for that, the reward is a $35 million budget cut. You're just working at cross purposes because you can't support the type of sustainable growth if you're not willing to and continue to invest in education.
Quick comment on the Under Armour situation or the agreement?
Which Under Armour situation?
With, not the situation, but the agreement for investment?
Oh, the uniforms. I was just like,
I'm sorry, yeah.
I was like, Under Armour situation. You sound a little nefarious. Look, I think it's a great opportunity for the police department. I think it's a great opportunity for the city. Under Armour, as you know, has been very generous over the years, supporting efforts to make our city a better place. If you look around, our city is peppered with examples of the Under Armour, whether it's sports fields or their philanthropic efforts throughout the year. And I certainly appreciate the fact that they are a sportswear company, right? An innovative sportswear company. There's nothing in their their bottom line that's measured by the amount of good that they're doing in Baltimore. So the fact that they're continuing to look for new ways to partner with the city to help improve the city, I certainly appreciate that. Kevin Plank has been an amazing cheerleader for the city, but this, by what was on the Board of Estimates today, allows us to have to begin having a conversation with them about the potential new uniforms. And it was very important for me that we follow the ethics rules, and that's why we did this with the item that was on the agenda, so it would be transparent before we have more serious discussions. And they understand that if this pilot program, if it's once it's established, if there is a desire for it to go any further, it would go through a regular RFP process.
Madam Mayor, I know you already discussed this, and I'm sorry that I was late. I was under the impression the discussion was starting at 10. Could you briefly recap the Amazon job opportunities?
Oh, yeah, and I can also make sure that
or
we...
can I chat with you after?
Yeah, and I'll make sure, Roz from the Mayor's Office of Employment Development just left. What we announced today was on February the 3rd and the 4th. We're starting our career fairs for Amazon jobs, just like we did with the casino jobs. We had very targeted employment opportunities for those jobs. Amazon is all on, the application process is all online, and we're going to set aside those days, 2 sessions a day on the 3rd and the 4th to help potential employees connect with those jobs. And I can get you, Kevin can make sure that you get more information. And the bottom line of it is, we fought very hard and worked with Amazon to get these jobs here, and that's only half the battle. The next part of it is to be intentional about making sure that Baltimore City residents benefit from these opportunities.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.